Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Debbie Pates. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday and my cat. I'm up here because I want to add in the comments box. Did that work? Yes. A link to the survey. So, okay, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, virtual yoga at GOCA. And I just uploaded a link to a survey that we are putting up. I don't really like my camera angle here today. Well, anyhow, put a link to a survey if you joined us when we were actually live in person. I guess I'm live now, but we asked you to fill out a survey at the end, and we've added a couple of questions about the online format. This is, if you can believe it or not, number 30 of Wellness Wednesday virtual yoga at GOCA. Wow, we've been doing this a long time, and that's not even, I misnumbered one and we missed a couple, but anyway, we're going to be virtual for, who knows how much longer, honestly, but anyway, we want to make this as meaningful and rewarding and not interactive exactly, but we want this to be as best suited to what you guys are wanting as we can tailor it. So there's a couple of specific questions about what you might want, and anyway, thank you for doing that. And I'm going to make a quick adjustment to this camera angle, I think, if I can do that. No, that's not what I wanted. I have this on some boxes. Maybe that'll work better. I don't know. It's a new computer, you guys, so I'm just trying to figure out how we can do this that you'll be able to see me. Anyway, maybe my mat moving. You know what? Enough of that. Hopefully you can see my beautiful flowers that I have. Ta-da. And why don't we do some yoga? Come into child's pose. Forehead on the mat. Knees either spread out or together. And slow, slow. Slow your breath. Slow your mind. There we go. Just slow down. Slow your thoughts. And maybe before you slow your thoughts, tune into your thoughts. Start to really pay attention to what's been going through your mind today, right? We have a limited amount of time, period, right? We have a limited amount of time together here right now, and in a more existential sense, we have a limited amount of time. How do you want to spend your time? And that's also, that's the time we spend with people, that's the time we spend in activities, that's the time we spend eating foods, that's the time we spend in our mind. How do you want to spend your time? And begin to make a conscious choice about that, right? As we know from our yoga, what we practice, we get better at. So what do you want to practice in your mind? Push up onto your hands and knees. Cat-cows. Inhaling as you lift, exhaling. Well, lift your head and your butt and exhaling as you round, if that works for you. And as like everything else I'm going to talk about throughout our practice, what I say are suggestions. Maybe here's a suggestion to do other movements with your hands and knees on the ground that your body is calling for. So perhaps swaying side to side, moving around, whatever. But I will give you some guidelines and you decide which is right for you. You might skip it. You might take a different version. You might do exactly what I say. Come on back to a neutral spine and make your way to plank. So maybe walk your hands a little bit forward or walk your feet back, but you want to be in a nice line. Hands underneath your shoulders, heels pushing back, and try not to stick your butt up too much. That's downward facing dog. And try not to sway your back too much either, right? That's more like an up dog. Engaging your core, and your core is your front and your back. So engaging both sides here, pushing through your heels. Let's make some length. Pushing through your heels, push back, and then reach the crown of your head forward. Try to create some more space in between your ribs. Stomach is engaged. Push your heels back, crown of head forward. Just see, it doesn't look like much, but it can feel actually pretty profound. And then lift up your hips. Come on into downward facing dog. I was trying to think of some clever way to keep with the pushing and pulling, but just lift your hips. Come on into down dog. And let's use this first few moments in down dog to wiggle it out. So pedal, bending one knee, letting the opposite heel sink, or whatever feels good to you here. And then we're going to come to stillness. Not quite yet. So keep on moving, keep on wiggling, finding a shape that you can hold for a little bit. Pulling maybe your navel up to your spine. Bend your knees. Everybody bend your knees and send your butt back even further. And then begin to straighten your knees, keeping that length you created in your spine. Breathing. Always breathing. Let the breath be the guide to your practice, right? So if you're breathing more quickly here, maybe come to stillness now and tune into your breath. If you're breathing more quickly here, okay. If your arms are shaking a little bit, okay. But what we want to do is keep the breath steady and deep, sending a message to your mind. It's okay. This may be hard, but I can do hard things, and I can do them calmly. We've had a lot of practice with that this year, doing hard things. And how have you done them? Do you like the way you're showing up? And if you don't like it, you don't have to act like it's fate. You can begin to make changes. Baby steps, come to the top of your mat, ragdoll. Feet around, hip width distance or maybe a little wider. Let your head be heavy. Imagine that the top of your head is, you could open it up like a dump truck. And just let go what you don't need. Let go what you don't need. And that's a lot easier said than done, I know. But we can try. We got to begin somewhere, right? And we start by trying. We start by trying. If you say, I can't do that, then you're right. Because you already counted yourself out. So we start by saying, maybe I could let go of that. All right, good, you're on your way. Soften your knees, roll up to standing. And when you get to standing, head last, perhaps roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Lift your kneecaps, engage your quadriceps, and stand tall. Shine your palms forward. Stand tall. Inhale your arms up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Reach up and over. Using the familiar movements to test how your body is showing up today. Inhale back up and switch sides. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Lean over to your left. Maybe you're looser, maybe you're tighter, maybe you're about the same. Maybe your sleep impacted you. Come back up center. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Cactus your arms and open your heart. Open your heart. Open your heart. Inhale your arms up. Sun salutations. Exhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Flat back. Reaching forward. Pause here. So look down, and your feet are either together or about hip width distance. And then instead of looking at your feet, kind of let your neck be neutral. So your gaze is, depends on how tall you are, right? But a foot or more in front of your feet. And then have your hands, you want to flat back. So Have your hands, most of us, on our shins. Some people, arms are long enough or you're flexible enough to have your hands on the ground. You can also bend your knees a lot and have your hands on the ground. Why not? Right? But reaching the crown of your head forward, reaching your sit bones back, lengthening, and then inhale up with that length. Come to standing hands overhead. Bring your palms together. Make it a prayer and pull that prayer into your heart. Lift your arms up. Dive forward. Lengthen. Inhale. Fold. One more time. Rise up. Rise. Breathe like a bubble to the surface. And then grab some of that beautiful air and pull it into your heart. How blessed we are to be able to breathe. Inhale up, and let's take it further. Fold. Halfway lift. Put your hands down. High plank. Lower halfway or all the way. Chaturanga or laying on the floor. Try to have your elbows in by your sides, and try to, if you're in chaturanga, keep the integrity of that plank in your body, and then open your heart, back bend, upward facing dog or cobra, and then roll over your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Notice where the weight is in your hands. Maybe it's even, maybe you roll the weight a little bit, internal rotation of your forearms so that you have more weight beneath, you kind of in the knuckles of your thumb and your first finger. But what you don't want is your weight rolling out so that you're putting pressure on the pinky and the little bones in your wrist there. Look forward. Step your right foot forward, followed by your left. Halfway lift, inhale. You can always jump. Forward fold, rise up, sweep arms up and out, hands together overhead. Bring your energy into your heart and then lift your arms right back up again. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back, high plank. Maybe your right foot again steps. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. It's a heart opening. It's a back bend. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Rock forward. Chaturanga. High plank. Downward facing dog. High plank. Chaturanga. High plank. Downward facing dog. Rock forward. One more. High plank to chaturanga. It's a push-up, you guys. High plank to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, followed by your right. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep your arms out, up. Rise with the flat back. Bring your hands together, overhead. Bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Fold. Halfway. Step back left foot, then right. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Rock forward again. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Okay, so stay on your toenail, parts of your toes here, and then begin to come to down dog. If you're saying, oh, I think we've done this before, we have. So you're lifting from underneath your navel, but your toenails are on the ground, really feeling how your stomach works. Coming to down dog, come back to up dog. 2 more times. Lift without rolling over your toes or flipping over your toes. As high as you can. Come on back. As high as you can might mean 1 inch. And then 1 more time. And then whoo, roll over your toes, downward facing dog. Drop your knees and keep your toes tucked. And walk your hands back. We're going to start in toes pose, and then we'll move on a little bit. So toes pose is that lovely position where you have your toes tucked, you sit your butt on your heels, And for a lot of us, this is really intense, so maybe bring your hands to your heart and breathe. Stretching a whole lot of stuff across both the top and bottom of our feet that we don't really ever move very much. So just breathe. Breathe into the sensation. Practice what you want to grow in your life. So do you want to grow, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, or do you want to grow calmness? And if you can't do it with equanimity, then you back off. So maybe you keep your toes tucked, but you lean your hands forward. Or maybe if you have more room, you keep your toes tucked, but you lean backwards and you keep your knees on the ground. And wherever you are, breathe. And explore where you are today without limiting yourself in either direction by where you were a different time when we did this, or you did this. And then come on forward. If you aren't forward already, untuck your toes, do it slowly. Ooh, 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 ooh. Separate your feet wider than your hips and sit your butt in between your feet. And the same idea, okay? We're stretching through the front of our quadriceps here. If you can take it back at all, keep your knees on the ground. You can separate your knees, but keep your knees down. You begin to stretch through more hip flexor, even psoas. And then if you can lay all the way down on the ground, you'll probably have a pretty dramatic arch in your back. If you're all the way down on the ground, maybe you bend your arms and clasp opposite elbow overhead. And just breathe. Breathe into the opening. Breathe into the space. Create space with the breath. Breathe into, thank you, body, for all that you do to me, do for me, and do to me. Maybe, right, if your body is hurting right now and saying, ooh, 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 don't do that. I guess you could say it's doing it to you, but what it's also doing to you is saying, hey, I think you're going a little too far here. And if you're not getting any sensation at all, then take it further. A dance between ego and physical sensation. Come on back up if you're not already up on your knees, and walk over to your hands and knees. Shake out your legs a little bit if you want, if it feels good. And then come to plank. And yeah, let's do it again. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. And just feel how your feet feel right now. Feel how your feet feel with that opening. Sometimes when I do that, kind of across the ball of my feet, it feels a little more broad. I don't know if that's a good thing, but that's what I feel. So anyway, feeling downward facing dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Lengthen, inhale. Fold, exhale. Bend your knees, squat and rise. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Fierce pose, fierce. So it's funny because right in yoga there's a lot of funny words, fierce pose or warrior pose, that seem very aggressive maybe, but yoga is about cultivating calmness. So we'll explore that a little bit more. And one of the 5 principles of yoga is ahimsa, nonviolence. So let's explore. Forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Fold and take it back to high plank. Lower, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Bring your big toes into touch and shift your hips over to your right, dropping your hips down as well. Maybe your heels come to the mat, stretching through the sides of your body. And then come on back and switch sides. Just bringing the feet to the center for a little bit more stability, stretching through Going down as far as feels good to you. Come on back to center and then lift your right leg up, let your left heel continue to sink. Bend your knee, open your hip, make some circles. If you want to and you have space, you could even flip your dog here, bringing your right foot down, letting your right hand reach back, and then come on back to join everybody who is in three-legged dog, and bring your right foot through, spin your back foot flat, rise up, warrior one. Sinking down into your front knee, pushing into your back foot to get your left hip flexor, hip point facing forward as best as you can. Bringing some awareness to your midsection here, so you don't want your ribs to be totally poking out. Tuck pelvis and lowest rib cage toward each other, pelvis bone. And then keeping your right knee tracking out to the right, open up to warrior two. Opening your left hip point to the left. Warrior one is a closed position. Warrior two is an open hipped position. So maybe those cues help you feel that. And if you don't feel it, then don't worry about it. Right, again, practicing. Maybe look back, I just did. Look back and see where your back arm actually is. And then look back forward. And then reach, reach, reach forward, following your right fingertips. And come on down to whatever suits you, right? Not pushing, we're doing extended side angle. So maybe you can put your arm on the floor, fingertips on the floor, palm on the floor, inside or outside of your foot. Maybe you use a block. I had my hand, I don't know if you guys were looking, I had my hand on my left rib cage. Sometimes I like to actually use my hands to kind of coax my rib cage open here. And then bring your left arm up, sink into your right knee. Roll your left rib cage open, roll your heart open. And then follow your left hand up, reverse warrior. Keep the bend in your right knee. Right knee moving forward, right arm moving back. Gazing up, gazing down, gazing in whatever direction feels good. And then take it down, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your left foot up into the air. Let your right heel continue to sink. Bend your knee, open your hip. Make circles, and if you want, left foot comes behind you, flip your dog. So I don't know, for you, when I do flip dog on one side, I like to have both feet flat, and on the other side, I have my foot on the knife edge. That's just how my body goes. Come on back, left foot in the air, three-legged dog. Step it through, heel and knee in a line. Right foot spins flat. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Sinking into your left knee, pushing into your right foot to get your right hip point forward. So a warrior. A warrior is not a bully. Left knee tracking out, open up, warrior 2, open hip position, so this right hip point opening up, maybe adjusting your feet if you need to, that's always, look back at your right hand. Where is that guy? And then come on back, gazing over your left fingertips. A warrior is not a bully, a warrior doesn't go picking fights. A warrior marshals its energy, his or her energy. Warriors marshal their energy, reach forward, extended side angle, or maybe I should say conserve their energy. Maybe you want to, again, put your hand, right hand this time, on your right rib cage, gently coaxing, maybe both hands, kind of coaxing your heart open to the right side, and then lifting your right arm. So maybe it's not marshaling energy, but just conserving energy. Reverse your warrior. Left knee tracking forward, left arm moving back, gaze up, down, neutral, whatever feels good. Learning how to conserve energy, to use it strongly. When needed, we'll windmill down. High plank to chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. There's a different kind of strength that it takes to hold the shapes we put our bodies in. It's a different kind of strength to flow through the shapes. Let's practice that now. Look in between your hands and step, hop, jump, top of your space, half lift, forward fold, bend your knees, rise up, chair pose, stand up all the way, bring your hands together and bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up, Utkatasana, chair, forward fold, halfway lift, lengthen, exhale, step back, high plank, chaturanga, Urdhva Mukha, Adho Mukha. Right foot steps, warrior one, rise, warrior two, reach and extend, maybe bicep by your ear this time, reverse your warrior, and then you take that back down if that suits you, chaturanga. Heart opens, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, right foot flat, warrior one, warrior two, extended side angle, bicep by ear maybe, reverse warrior, and take it down. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, two, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, spin your back foot flat, warrior one, warrior two, extend, reverse, chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog, and then your left foot, warrior one, warrior two, extended side angle, reverse warrior, and all the way down. High plank to low plank, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Ooh. Ooh, good flow, nice work. Breathe. Maybe your breath is a little bit moving more quickly this time, right? But we still breathe and we practice being calm, not reacting. Look in between your hands, make your way to the top of your space. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, chair pose, rise. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Up dog to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and this time drop your left knee down. And just stay here. Stay here for a moment. So your hands are still on the ground. Knee maybe is jutting a little bit beyond your heel here. And start to feel the opening. Wherever you do feel it in your right leg. And if you like it here, stay. And if you want to take this a bit further, come on up. You're going to also add, if you come up, an opening in the front of your left hip flexor. And then maybe you want to lift your arms up. Continue sinking into your right knee. Maybe you even want to take a little back bend. You can hook your thumbs, biceps as close to your ears as you can, maybe even behind your ears. Lift your heart. So you're not just crunching into your low back. You're trying to lift and then come backwards. And then if you're doing the back bend, come on up. If your hands are on the floor, lift them up. Bring your hands into your heart and twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Pushing your knee into your elbow, pushing your elbow into your knee. Trying to get your heart facing the side. Trying to lift your stomach off your thighs, right? And that's hard. Our bodies touch different parts of our bodies. But what you're doing is you're wanting to not be collapsing down. That's really what we're going for here. And then unwind Bring your hands to the inside of your right foot, runner's lunge. Toe heel your right foot up toward the top corner of your mat and sink down. So maybe your elbows come to the floor. Maybe you lay all the way down. Again, paying attention to ahimsa, nonviolence. Don't jam your body into where your ego wants your body to be. Pay attention to where your body is asking you to go today. Sometimes I'm surprised in a pose, like, wow, I could go further than I usually do. Isn't that interesting? And oddly, sometimes that relaxation around a pose, that removal of end goal is what allows your body to go even further. But we can't usually force that. We have to really be in that place. Going where your body wants to go, not your ego. Come on up and let's do Hanumanasana, Ardha Hanumanasana. So Hanumanasana is splits. So if you could do the full splits, then go ahead, straighten your right leg out and go for it. Otherwise, straighten, send your hips back, straighten or straighten-ish your right leg, and walk your hands toward your right foot. So that we're continuing to lengthen the spine, lengthen the hamstring, lengthen your breath. And notice what's going on with your neck. So I'm looking up a little bit and I suddenly became aware of this tension in the back of my neck. So maybe lengthen your neck as well, maybe even pulling the crown of your head, not pulling literally, but toward your right big toe. And breathe into wherever it is that you feel this. Rebend your right knee. Tuck your left toes under, lift up your left knee. Pull your right foot back to meet your left. Come into high plank. Hold high plank. Bring your big toes in together to touch and roll your heel left. Side plank. Bottom knee can be down if you want. You could take your right leg up. You could grab your right toe. Actually, let's add that. So bring your right foot into tree. Whoa. Bring your right foot into tree. Lift your right knee. Grab your right knee. If you can grab your right big toe, go ahead, grab your right big toe. And then look down and swing your foot around. Come back into a low lunge. Keep your right knee up. Whoa. Rise up crescent. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. And open up to the side. Right hand back. Left hand forward. Bring your right hand to the back of your left thigh. This is called exalted warrior. It's tricky. Left arm up, opening through your right shoulder, maybe looking up. It's a balance challenge. And then windmill your hands down. High plank, step back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward, right knee down. Untuck your right toes, pause. Feel what you feel. Notice what's going on in the left side of your body. If you want to stay here, stay here. Or come up. Maybe hands on your thighs. Maybe arms overhead. Hook your thumbs, biceps by your ears. First lift up and then imagine that you're trying to open up your heart, open up your upper and your mid back more than you're trying to just crease into your low back. Continue to sink into your left knee. And then come on up. If you're doing the back bend, hands to your heart, twist. Right elbow outside of your left knee. Push your knee into your elbow. Push your elbow into your knee. Push your top hand into your bottom hand. Open your heart to the side. Open your heart to possibility. And then unwind, runner's lunge. Left foot comes further, creating space for your upper body. Both hands inside your left knee and sink down. Showing up for this side, right? We expect our bodies to show up for us. As you know, I'm a psychologist in the wellness center, and I was working with a student who has very disordered eating, and you know, she's so deeply entrenched in her body as just needing to serve her by looking a certain way that she's forgotten about all of the other things that her body does. She works out twice a day. If you've sunk down to whatever depth, come on back up. Bring your foot a little bit back more center, either full splits if you've got that or half splits. That she forgets, wow, her body takes her through 2 workouts a day. Walk your hands toward your left foot, lengthening, maybe checking in with your neck, lengthening the crown of your head, forward. Breathing, let it feel good. So rather than just saying, darn you, body, I want to lift 15 pounds and you're only letting me lift 10. Appreciating what your body can do. Appreciating that you have vision and hearing. And my gosh, smell and taste, you guys, right? Come on back, bend your front knee, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, low lunge, 2, crescent, find crescent. Push your right hip forward here, right heel back. Oh, I forgot something. Wait, come back. Sorry about that. Or did we do that later? Yeah, we did that later. Sorry. Crescent, left arm back, right arm forward, exalted warrior. We'll get to everything. I don't know if it's in the right order. Bring your left hand to the back of your right thigh, your hamstring. Right arm reaches up, and maybe you look up. And please, wherever you are, breathe. Come on back down. Come to high plank now. And side plank on the right side. Right arm down, side of your right foot. Lifting your left arm up, lifting your hips up on the left side. And then lift up, grab, bring your foot to tree. And then maybe grab your left foot, maybe grab your left toes, look down, and swing it around. Yeah, I messed that up a little bit, didn't I? That's okay. Hands down, let's just step back here, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Drop your knees, and we're going to come to anahatasana, so puppy dog pose. So drop your knees and then keep your hips over your knees. Walk your hands forward and begin to lower your forehead to the ground, keeping your armpits open. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, getting a nice stretch. Breathe. Put your forehead on the ground. If you have a lot of flexibility here, some people like to bring their chin to the ground, but for many people that's just too much. And you know what too much is? Too much. Too much isn't better, it's too much. Take your left hand, thread the needle, slide it up, palm up underneath your right armpit, and then maybe turn your left ear to the ground, and you're going to have to maybe wiggle around to find the optimal position for you here, to feel a stretch, top of your left shoulder, maybe all the way across your back. Some people like to have their forehead on the ground in this position instead of their ear. But we're not positioning, well, we are positioning ourselves, but we're not posturing, we're not posing. We're trying to be genuine. Come on back to center and switch sides. Slide your right hand underneath your left armpit, palm up, right ear on the mat. And wiggle around, find where you get the best opening, and be conscious of where your body is today, right? So maybe this pose doesn't feel good to you. I got a shingles shot today, and it's just a little tender right now. So I'm taking this position differently, right? Come on back, tuck your toes, lift your knees, downward facing dog. You shouldn't have to move around too much from extended child's pose, puppy dog pose to get there. And then look in between your hands, and step, hop, jump to the top of your space, halfway lift, forward fold, sweep your arms up, rise to standing, come all the way up, bring your hands together, overhead, and bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up, we'll do some balance. Chair. Eagle, right arm under, right leg up and over. Sink down. Lift your elbows up if you want. If you want, move your hands forward. And if what I'm saying, sometimes I catch myself sounding so bossy, and I'm just really trying to keep the words to a minimum. But what I want to remind you always to do is tailor these shapes to your body in this space, in this time, today. Release. Stand up. Reach your arms up. Utkatasana chair again. Left arm under. Left leg up and over. And be kind, right? Sometimes it's easier for us to be kind to ourselves, right? Like, ooh, I had a shot and I feel it in my right arm and I think I need to adjust this position today to suit my body. But then other times, I don't know what it, that's acceptable. Inhale, release, reach up. Let's do dancer. Right elbow by your right rib cage. Drop your right hand down, lift your right foot up. Bring your knees back together. Stabilize, even out your sacrum, and then begin to kick into your right hand as you actively reach forward with your left. Try to send your knee straight back rather than opening out to the side. Feeling your standing foot wiggling, looking for stability. And then reverse and rotate. Left arm by your side, right arm up. Drop your left hand down. Lift your left foot up. Knees together. Kick. So sometimes like, ooh, I had a shot. My arm is sore. I am kind to myself about making adjustments to my positions today. Remember to try to keep your left knee going back, straight back, not out, and then reverse. And let's take tree. Shift the weight into your left foot and bring your right foot up wherever you would like. Take whatever arm position you would like. And if you're having trouble balancing, which I am today, trying to take this Ashtanga version. There we go. No. Have a sense of humor about it. It's just a shape you're putting your body into. It doesn't say anything about your worth as a person. Release if you haven't already and switch sides. But we make it that way, don't we? Ahimsa is nonviolence. Don't be mean to yourself. Have a sense of humor. And again, what we practice grows. So if you could start practicing having a sense of humor about your yoga practice, a sense of playfulness about it, like everything
everything else we practice on the mat, you could take that off the mat and into the rest of your life where it really matters. Release tree. If you haven't already, one more standing sequence. Stop your top of your mat. Lift your arms. Chair. Fold. Halfway lift. Take it back, high plank. Lower to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left foot flat. Warrior 1 to warrior 2. Straighten your right knee triangle. Go. Maybe doing that same thing, turning, using your hands to kind of open your rib cage up, and then reaching the crown of your head forward, trying to both sides of your body opening. Crown of your head forward, hips pulling back, opening your heart. Maybe even allowing your top hand to drop open a little bit, and then reaching forward. So constantly going through the checklist, right? Reach forward, hips back, open, reach, and then come on up. Turn your feet parallel, tee your arms out, squeeze your shoulders together, wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands down, grab onto outsides of your feet or wherever you can grab. Rock your weight a little bit forward into the balls of your feet if you can do that. I mean, you can, but it can be a little bit scary. And then crawl your body over to your right foot. And if you can, grab onto, take your left hand, grab onto anywhere you can on your right thigh, right shin rather, maybe ankle. Right hand can come right forearm behind your right foot, sorry. And then release, come on back to center, tee your arms out, rise up. Warrior 2 to your front of your mat. Reverse warrior. And take it down. High plank. You can always just step right into downward facing dog. And then when you get to downward facing dog, take a breath in, a breath out. And then step your left foot forward, right foot flat. Warrior 1 to warrior 2. Straighten your left knee, just do it right away. And come into triangle. So trying to, one of the reasons that we go through all of these checks is to be in the shape as most, as accurately as possible, but we also do it to keep ourselves present, because if I'm thinking about rib cage open, right arm up, crown of head forward, hips back, I'm not thinking about anything else. And part of the goal of yoga is to become a moving meditation. And meditation is focusing on one thing. Come on back up. Turn your feet parallel. Clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open your heart. Bow forward. Rock your weight forward into the balls of your feet a little bit. Let your arms come off your back as much as they can. And then release your arms and crawl over toward your left foot. Try to bring the right hand on the outside of your left thigh, left arm behind your calf. I said thigh, I meant shin or ankle again. Come on back down the middle. Tee your arms out. Rise up. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Reverse warrior. And bring your hands down. Keep your left foot where it is and just toe heel your left foot over. Come on into pigeon. Pigeon on the left side. And make your way there. Let your head rest on the mat, on your hands, on the block, but let your head rest.
there's a lot of, you know, it's the holiday season, and there really are a whole lot of holidays now. Right now, it's the 7th night of Hanukkah. Ah, I should have put a menorah back here. I was so busy thinking about my flowers. But right now is the 7th night of Hanukkah, and also it's the season of Kwanzaa and the season of Christmas. And I know there's other stuff, but I'm not thinking about it right now. But whatever it is that you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate, but you've lived through this season of the year because you live in America, it looks a lot different this year, right? So how can we sit around that and accept it rather than try to make it look like it used to? I mean, in a forced way. Come on up, and let's just switch sides. So tuck your right toes, maybe send your left foot back, come into downward facing dog, and then right knee forward, pigeon. So I don't mean don't light your menorah or your, I know Kwanzaa has also kind of a menorah thing. I don't know what it's called. Sorry about that. Doesn't mean don't put up your tree, but we can't be with the people that we love as much as we might want to be. We can't do a lot, right? So what if instead of getting rigid and hardening around the can'ts, oh, it doesn't look that way, recognizing and then appreciating this season. Letting this be what it is rather than what it is not. And what it is quiet. What it is can be a lot calmer, a lot simpler. What it is can actually be the beginning of new traditions. And even if it's not, what it is can be a pause. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe some other adjectives, some other descriptive words. But letting it be what it is, not what it's not. Come on up and sit onto your right hip and swing your leg around and make your way onto your back. Keep your knees bent. Keep your arms by your sides. Bridge. Push into your feet and lift your hips up. Clasp your hands behind your back. Walk your shoulder blades toward each other. Lift your hips. Push into your feet. Lift your hips. Maybe watching your breath rise and fall as it moves your stomach up and down. And then release. Knock your knees in together. 2 more times. You can continue to do bridge or you can do wheel, back bend, rise. Whichever one you're doing, commit, lift. Release, come on down. One more time, knock your knees in together. And then final time, we're going to hold it for 10 counts. So go on up, come on up, bridge your wheel, and let's go 10, 9, 8, moving your tailbone toward your knees, 6, 5, 4, hold it, commit, 1, now release, and this time bring the soles of your feet together and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Feel your heartbeat, feel your breath, lifting your stomach as you inhale, lowering as you exhale. Slowing down. The days are short. The time of year we slow down. Bring your feet to the earth and then hug your knees in. And rock left to right. Maybe experimenting with how close your knees are into your chest. How far they are, how that feels. And then come on back to center, hug your right knee in, let your left leg go long, spinal twist. Really breathe into your low back, kidneys, expanding and contracting. No goal except exploration. Back to center and switch sides. Let your right leg come long as you hug your left knee in and then spinal twist. Once again, sending that breath to your low back. Letting your knee hover, your foot hover, or go to the ground, wherever it goes. Right, still, even at this very end of the practice, no agenda. And then come on back and lay on your back. Shavasana. Final resting pose. Let your body be heavy. Let yourself feel supported by the floor, supported by the earth, supported by the people who love you, supported by your friends, supported by the beliefs that you hold dear, supported by the money that you earn at your job, supported by your breath, by your bones, by this beautiful body that has led you through this practice. And then just for a few more moments, be. Got about a minute left. So let yourself, I'll watch the time. You watch your breath. No need to control the breath, just letting it come in and out. Check in with your jaw. Check in with your fingers, eyes. Check in with your mind. Where did it go? Bring it back. And this is a practice you can always do at any time. Check in with your mind and bring it back. Bring it back to topic at hand. Bring it back to breath. Bring it back to the present moment, which is the only moment that we are ever alive. The only moment that we have any power. We're right about at the hour here, so begin to bring movement back into your hands, wiggling your fingers and toes, and come on up to seated. And when you get to seated for a moment, please come to a space of gratitude. I'm grateful to you guys for coming virtually to this practice. Please fill out the survey that I put a link to in the comment section here. We will have practice next week, which is the 23rd, I think. And then we'll be skipping a week. Campus reopens on the 4th of January, and we'll resume on the January 6th. Namaste.